first speaker is Mr. Malik Ahmad Jalal. Topic for his talk is integrating a mission-based culture with HR strategy. This is a brief case study from a social enterprise. I will present to you Mr. Malik Ahmad Jalal.
If you can load the presentation. Assalamu alaikum everyone. जब तक ये presentation load होती है, people who know me, my name is Ahmad Jalal, and I'm running the Aman Foundation. I think I'd like to acknowledge two people here. We're going to talk about the HR transformation of Aman and what we've gone through. We are a very unique example of an organization that has a social mission, but it behaves like an enterprise, it behaves like a business. So combining the heart and the mind sometimes is not easy, and we try doing that, and this is a journey of our evolution over the last 2 years. I think two people I'd like to acknowledge. Over here, Ms. Aisha Chaudhary, who is our head of HR, a very seasoned HR professional who has been with us for about 18 months now, and formerly ICI, Maersk, and then Mr. Ehsan Durrani, who was before Aisha, was very helpful, instrumental when I came and joined Aman 17 years as head of HR at Novartis. And then I'm going to also have a shout out for our HR team who are sitting out there. People like me, CEOs, are able to stand in front and look good because of all the hard work that all the team members actually put in. So without their hard work, without their effort, I wouldn't be able to come in. Great shout out to our HR team who have done a certainly very marvelous and certainly a very difficult job. We are Aman Foundation. I want to talk to you about the evolution of a company. Just like human beings have evolution, you have a teenage years, you have then middle age, and then old age. Companies have an evolution also. So this is how a company grows. It's an early stage enterprise. When you're early stage, you focus on people. It's all about getting the right person and getting the most out of them. And as many people as you can get, the right people you can get, that's what matters. But at some point, every company has to go through its evolution to the next stage, which I call a mid stage, which people should not be that important. What is important is process. You need to move from focus on people to focus on process. And then, when you become very large, a large-scale enterprise, even process is not going to be managed. You need to manage it through culture, through values. Large organizations like GE, large organizations like Walmart, there's a culture. It is what it means to be part of, let's say, Oracle or Reckitt Benckiser, and that's why culture is very important. Every time when you flip, it is a change of state. It's a change of state of an organization. You may be doing exactly the same thing. You may be making widgets, but actually the way you go about doing it is very different. And that is the process that we went through. We were incubated about 9 years ago. We grew very fast in that period of time, relying on a lot of people. But in order to move to the process stage and to build culture, we had to go through a lot of changes and transformation, which I'm going to talk about. So HR is an important facilitator of this transformation, and the alignment between the CEO and the head of HR is absolutely critical in making sure this happens. A little bit about the challenge that I think, Ahmed, you talked about it. How do you incorporate mission into the ethos of an organization so that every person is bought into it? We live and breathe that challenge because we are about sustainable social impact and finding sustainable, scalable solutions. That's the thing we have. So in order to be having impact, we need to have a not-profit mindset. But in order to be sustainable, we have to behave like an enterprise. We have to focus on cost. We have to focus on generating revenues. It is two different sides of the brain. Combining the two together, you can actually lead to an outcome which is better than either for-profit sector or the non-profit sector. But yet it is a challenging thing, and that's why it hasn't happened too often. Little bit about Aman's journey. We started in 2007. We've got the largest vocational training program. This year, inshallah, we're going to graduate about 3,500 students. Altogether, we would have graduated by the end of 2017, some 8,000, 9,000 students from a vocational training program. So, of course, know us from our Aman ambulance system, which is 80 strong ambulances across Karachi. And then we have a community health workers program that covers about 1.1 million people or 1 million people across Karachi. Something we are very proud of is called the Aman Leaders Management Training Program. So I like this framework, and that's how I've modeled it. It's called people, process, and culture. So you need to work on the people, because that's very important. Then you need to work on the process, and then you need to work on the culture, which is the outer ring. And if you work on all three of them, you have an organization which is very aligned, which works at an individual level, which works at the team level, and which is in sync with the environment. So in order to work at the people level, we work through hiring and retention of top talent, which is always difficult. We are not the Unilever. We are not the corporate sector entity. We are a not-for-profit enterprise. So for us, doing that is very, very difficult, and yet we've made significant progress on that. Second thing is what I call policies and procedures, compensation benchmarking. After all, people come here to work at Aman a lot for their passion, but they also come to work for a comp. And I think internal equity and external equity is extremely important so that you see that it's a just system. We said that it is about empowerment. Empowerment means that people have visibility, people have transparency regarding their comp, and also that if you work hard, you will be rewarded. If you don't work hard, then you'll be put on an improvement plan. But certainly, if you work hard, you're aligned with the values of the organization, then for sure, you need to do well both financially, spiritually, I would say, and professionally. And so we embarked on something called the Aman Values. We ran a full campaign over a 1-year period, what it means to have those values, what behaviors those values signified. We worked on all of those aspects in line with different consultants over here, and that included a lot of communication, as I said, town halls. We had multiple town halls in the field, monthly newsletters, forums, and also then a lot of training and development that we did of a key senior people. So when I look at people transformation, what are the key constraints to scale? These are collaboration and teamwork. Everyone wants to do their own thing. KPI setting, respect for KPIs, talent development, and as well as employer branding. I always tell my marketing team, I said marketing is not about revenue. Marketing is not about branding. Marketing is about only and only one thing for me, which is attracting the right talent. Is attracting the right person whose value base is aligned with me. Because every problem in the world is a human resource problem. It is either the wrong person in the wrong job or right person facing the wrong incentive structure. They're both HR problems or to do with HR. So a lot of things we did, we centralized our functions, which was quite decentralized. We did an employee engagement survey. We had to start somewhere to know where the employees were and where they felt. And then we focused a lot on development plans. And one thing we were very proud of is something called the Aman Leaders Program. We are the only social sector organization that has a management training program likes of Unilever, likes of Procter & Gamble, which is about building social entrepreneurs and change leaders. It's a 2-year management training program for young graduates. We have an excellent cohort. Some of them are here working with us. Some of the things that we achieved, you can see Zafar Khan Saab there. We had a lot of Steve Rasmussen, our internal cafes, learning cafes, which was about learning and development, inspiration, all those good things that we can learn from others. We initially went outside to get leaders from outside to come and train. And then we went internally because we realized there was a lot of resources internally that was available in different areas, and we could leverage that. And so we had this project management workshop, of course, about gender sensitivity, and gender diversity. This is, I talked about the management training program, Pakistan's first social sector program, because again, talent acquisition is a big issue. How do we market ourselves in competition with the Unilevers of the world, with the Procter & Gamble? And the way we did that is to come up with a regular management training program called the Aman Leaders. These Aman Leaders go on a 6-month to 8-month rotation across 3 different parts of the business, so that they get a well-rounded view of what the organization is about. Process transformation. Again, this is the most boring, naughty stuff, but yet it is very, very critical. It is about policies, it is about procedure, it is about attendance, it is about accountability, it is about systems. It is the part of HR, because HR, as I said earlier, is about emotions, it's about empathy, it's about people. But at the same time, it is about process, because if you can't change rules for everyone to accommodate everyone's situation, you need to have a process, because of course the needs of the organization are superior to the needs of any individual, including my own. And then communication and alignment. And that meant regular town halls. I'm going to talk about some of the things that we did as part of that. So we did, as you can imagine, a lot of policies, upgrade policies and procedures, but very importantly, important code of conduct. So we are a large organization. We have 1,200 people currently working with us in the field, in Future Colony, in Liari, in Landi and other areas. And we went out there, our HR team, our people, who went and trained on code of conduct and code of conflict of interest, induction manual, grievance, and complaint handling. One area we particularly focused on was gender and gender sensitivity and gender, and making sure how can we get more women to come and work with us. We are based out of Korangi, so we provided transportation, but also created a gender committee to make sure that any gender-related grievances were handled, and were handled very, very swiftly. And whenever any issue arose, we acted very swiftly, we acted very decisively, because an environment has to be safe for all sorts of people. And it's not about even gender, it's about diversity, as someone said. It's about different people coming together and working and feeling that they are safe and they can be the best they can. You know, this is the standard bell curve. People resist it like anything. Everyone was a top performer and all those kind of things. So we had to work very extensively to make sure that, you know, people recognize what good looks like over here. Again, some of the challenges that you have when you have grown a lot in 6 or 7 years, growth is all about doing things now and getting whatever people you can get at that time. And when that happens, you don't have formality, you don't have norms, because at that time, the most important thing is to grow. So at some stage, you need to put a structure around it, to put grading mechanism around it. We went through about 121 job evaluation interviews with ProLinks, and in order to determine different grades, we put down the people into different grade levels. And the only reason I show it here is because we have, in order for us to attract good talent to work on social problems of Pakistan, we have to behave, we have to show a system which is transparent and exactly how you would face in a Reckitt Benckiser, in a Unilever and everything. We can't just rely on people's emotions or passions to attract them. We have to give them a good career pathway. So we did a lot of those things in order to make sure that that was available to them. Then we outsource it through HRSG, something called Decibel, which is all about leave, attendance, full and final settlements. Just make sure that something that we're not an expertise of, and it takes a lot of time to outsource it to another party. But all of this required a lot of communication, a lot of questions, a lot of engagement, a lot of town halls. So we had to go out in the field, in Korangi, in other parts of Korangi, to go and talk with people, go and visit other places, hold numerous town halls in order for people to understand what we are trying to do. Communication, if you can communicate, generally people are empathetic and generally people understand what you're saying, but one has to communicate and communicate clearly. We created monthly newsletters about great stories of success in Aman. And again, it goes back to, we're a mission-based organization. People need to buy into what we do who work with us. And so it's important for people to know that the work of Aman, how it's being done, who are the people who are doing great job, great work, and for them to be recognized like that. The last bit, as I said, is the cultural transformation, which is around identifying the values of an Aman employee that we need, that we aspire, and what is it that we expect our people to do. People mean well. Generally, in fact, totally people mean well, but if they don't know what is expected of them, you can't hold them responsible for things that they don't know about. So that basically meant identifying the core values, what the procedures, what those values meant in terms of action, what were the KPIs, and to create an inclusive culture. So these were we did an internal survey. We had a huge, we engaged an external organization to go through this, to identify 4 core values that were critical to the success of Aman. These are collaboration, integrity, ownership, and passion. In order to be a good Aman employee, in order to go through our system, you need to display all of that. But that is not enough, because that is an aspiration, that is a value. What does it mean in real life? So then we stated what it means, and we did a whole lot of workshops in this area so that people understand what is the behavior of passion, positive and energetic. When you say ownership, commitment, and promises are met. I say what I do and I do what I say. Those are the kind of things that we communicated, we inculcated through our training program. And then integrity, meaning being honest and being open in our communication and treat people fairly, and that's what we've aspired to do. So we did, and then again, it's a lot of employee engagement. How do you get people to feel as part of a single mission? How do you get people to feel that they are part of something that are bigger than themselves? So how do you break down silos so you get people to socialize through offsites, through Christmas celebrations, recognizing the ethnic minorities that work within us, and a lot of them, and to acknowledging them so people feel that they're exclusive. Aman is a place where anyone and everyone can go and come from any ethnicity, any gender, can feel that they can make a contribution towards transforming lives. We had a fun stack competition, which is a competition across organizations, different people. The team leader was always someone junior, and they're members of the team. I was a member of a team where the person who was my team leader was like 6 levels below me. And we were all collaborating to raise money for Aman. And so we raised a significant amount of money to fund an ambulance for our Aman ambulance. We had a huge degree of internal engagement activity. We have got something called Aman's Got Talent. Tina Sani came here. A few other famous actors and actresses came here. A lot of camaraderie. The amount of engagement that it developed, we got from the field. कोई कुरंगी में काम कर रहा है, because we are quite spread out across Karachi. We have 1,200 people. कोई बिन कासिम में बैठा है, कोई North Karachi में है, कोई खुदा की बस्ती में है. So getting them together, getting all of them, and we got real genuine that flew through, real genuine passion that came through all of this, which is and then we acknowledged people who are Aman champions. So now we are in the next steps, which is developing supervisors, building capacity, talent differentiation. As I said, good talent needs to know that if you work hard, the organization will take care of you. The organization is fair, the organization is just, and the organization is transparent. I think that is a relationship, that's the contract that an employee and employer has. For an employee to give his life, time, effort, emotions, work, sweat to it, it is the responsibility for an organization to give them all of those things and then communicate. And we've got going through a campaign called the Aman Kahani these days. So what is human resources isn't just a thing we do, it's the thing that runs our business. It's the software that is through our organization. I personally have spent a lot of time on in this area on HR and working on the systems and working with my HR team. So as I said, I owe a lot. I come here and I talk about things. I owe a lot to the people who have worked as part of Aman, both our consultants, our advisors who have worked on this. And I think one thing I would say for HR community, I would recommend, very interesting, if you have to, some of the ideas for today, if you want to learn some of it, there's a very interesting book. The book in my hand is called How Google Works. It is by Eric Schmidt, who's the CEO, and Jonathan Rosenberg. It is a fascinating book because it talks about all the issues of talent management, all the challenges you face. It has a section on culture. It's called Culture, Believe Your Own Slogans. And then it's got a section on talent. Hiring is the most important thing you do. I would end with something that we started with. I'll read out a passage from you, and that basically tells you the new HR world. I had my mamu used to work in the military at some point. He had a sticker outside his office which said, "Wisdom does not come with rank." Now, his career in Army was very, possibly that sticker had something to do with that, because of course organizations are quite hierarchical, but I think it's more true. A lot of knowledge, talent, lot of ideas are not here, are out there, are out in the field. So there is a section I'll read out. It says, "Don't listen to the hippo." He says, "Hippopotamus are the deadliest animals, faster than you think and capable of crushing or biting in half any enemy in their path. Hippos are dangerous in companies too, when they take the form of highest paid person's opinion." Hippo stands for highest paid person's opinion. When it comes to the quality of decision making, pay level is intrinsically irrelevant, and experience is valuable only if it is used to frame a winning argument. I repeat, comes to quality of decision making, pay level, seniority is intrinsically irrelevant. Experience is invaluable only if it is used to frame a winning argument. Unfortunately, most companies, experience is the winning argument. We call these places tenureocracies, because power derives from tenure, not merit. It reminds us of one of the favorite quote from CEO of Netscape: "If we have data, let's look at data. If all of us have opinion, let's go with mine." With that, I think I finish off our presentation. Hopefully, this gives you a flavor of what we achieved at in an organization of Aman Foundation. Thank you very much.